everybody. Thank you for being here with us. Um, so, we are going to be talking today about how to protect our peace and giving suggestions on the things that we do to allow for more calm in our lives. Because I know for me that if I don't put certain things in place, then things can start getting chaotic and it can start to weigh a lot on my shoulders and my mind, and it just starts to get heavy for me personally. So I'm sure that it can be that way for you guys as well. So I am really excited to be able to talk about things that have helped me along the way to help manage and support my body in bringing peace every day. Like every single day I'm able to do that, and I love it. I used to live in such turmoil and things that were like I just felt like I couldn't even breathe because I just had so much going on. And breath is one of the most important things for me now because I take time to do breath work. But we'll talk about all the things. Anita, do you want to go into some of the things that you?
Well, who wants more calm in their life? Everyone, right? We all do. And so, um, this is something that's super important to me as well because I just have a naturally intense personality. And if I'm always living at high rev, that is not good for me systemically. It's not good for me emotionally. It's not good for me in any way. But that's always like where I have lived. Like that's my natural inclination. And so for me to put that into place in my life too allows me to be more present. And that is a huge gift. That's something that I've come to realize that I want more of in my life because I want more connection. And so in order to have that connection, I have to be more present with people. Like always just going 100 miles an hour and honestly in my head sometimes I would just be already thinking about what's next or what's ahead or and not like being in the moment. And being in the moment now to me is so important. As a matter of fact, I mentioned in our last call that I use my phone for certain messages to myself, like alarms of either goals I have set, um, even just reminders of who I am to myself. But one of them is hold my peace. And so
I've
that for
seen
me,
that one come up.
she's like, oh, you have an appointment. It says hold my peace. But I mean, like has become one of my biggest focus points, and it has become so crucial for me to be who I want to be. So we're going to share some of those tips with you today.
So, what would you like to start with, Anita? I know that for me, probably, okay, for me, it really is going to be meditation. And I've been learning some breath work techniques where that has been shifting me so much. But meditation, um, like taking time in the morning to slow down first thing and allow for whatever it is that I need to even be present in, okay, what is it that I need right now? Or what is it that I'm going to be doing today that I need to even bring in a little bit more intention to my well-being. And so having that time first thing in the morning has been such a lifesaver for me. But yeah, I don't know if you want to add
I
anything else to that.
I actually love that you have your meditation pillow right next to your bed and you literally roll out of bed and sit up on your meditation pillow. I think that's so awesome. So, for me, it looks a little bit different. My absolute first thing in the morning is my gratitude journal, because then it like shifts me into the space of how beautiful my life is, how many blessings I have in my life. And I need to start with that because that's something that I can just pick up. And this is, I mean, like I do it every single day and I have a million notebooks. And so I'll never actually buy an actual gratitude journal, but I have a million notebooks that I will forever use as my gratitude journal. And I write 10 things I'm grateful for every day. And it's usually within the last 24 hours of things that have happened within the last 24 hours, because you run out of the big things, right? Like your home, your health. But if you have little moments where you're just like, oh my gosh, the sun feels so good today. Or, oh my gosh, the breeze is finally starting to cool off. I'm so grateful that I can be present enough to enjoy that moment. And so when I put it in my gratitude journal, then it kind of helps me see how beautiful my life is. And it's also something that I can do because you know, like you can roll out of bed and then you meditate right there. Where, I mean, I have a couple of dogs and you know, Tom. And so it's fine. I mean, I could definitely be quiet about it, but the journaling I'm able to do as Elijah's getting ready for school, and then I know that I have that under my belt. If I do have the space to meditate, I will after my gratitude, but it's not as consistent as my gratitude journal. So that's how I start my day.
I love that. And I've had phases where I do really great at journaling and then other times where I don't. But I feel like for me, I do have the gratitude while I'm meditating, that it's beautiful to write it down, because then later on it's fun. I've gone back through some of my journals and read my different, like I did do finding a gratitude, something different every single time. So it's fun to go back and see all the different things that I've been grateful for. I love that so much. So yes, I love that. I haven't been as diligent recently in my journaling, but thank you for bringing that up, because that is a big one too. And so when you were talking about the leaves and just being present with all of that, that isn't my next one would be to get outside. And even if it is just, you know, for a little bit in your backyard or front yard or around the block, it doesn't have to be this big thing. I feel like that's sometimes what stops people is, I don't have time to go out, you know, into the mountains. Well, you don't have to go too far. Like even just being able to be outside, feeling the sunshine or feeling the rain or the wind, or I mean, it can be however it is, right? And it's beautiful. And having that, the presence of, even as I've done meditative walking, where you are really just focusing on allowing your heel and all the way to the front of your foot as you're slowly stepping. Every single step is very intentional and able to be present in that moment. So even slowing down a walk, but it's amazing to just be outside and see nature and feel it and hear the birds and all of that. So that would be my second one, is moving my body first thing. But you know, it can be anytime.
So I love that you mentioned that, because it is true. A lot of us, that will stop us going, oh, I don't have time for that practice, or I don't have time for this practice. But you can literally grab your notebook on the way out to sit on your porch, get some fresh air with your coffee. And as you're sipping your coffee, writing your gratitude for the day, and you have stepped outside, and all of a sudden you're like breathing fresh air, you're realizing how gorgeous the day is. That's going to propel you into the next step of like, ooh, I want to be outside more today. That encourages more movement. And, you know, it's like the smallest little ways to fit in those things that are so nourishing to our body and our soul are so crucial.
Yeah.
So crucial. So, as you probably noticed, today we wanted to focus on how to support ourselves in holding on to our peace, and how to not allow ourselves to, you know, get overwhelmed or not realize that we're in a state of stress until we accidentally explode on someone or something that you're not you know, like you feel like you have just lost your composure. We don't want to wait till that moment happens to reflect on, oh, wow, I was actually feeling not okay in this moment because of all these things. So the goal today is for us to live in consciousness, like understand, what are we experiencing right now? Paying attention to every moment of our lives. Like we just went over how we want to start the day. We just went over some, you know, We just went over some of the stuff that we can put into place, small little movements that will help us get our feet on the ground and feeling more centered to begin the day. And then the rest from that point on is paying attention. Where am I at? Am I breathing deeply? Am I feeling the sun on my skin? Am I taking care of myself? Am I nourishing my body? Have I eaten a healthy breakfast? Have I drank enough water? Have I elevated my emotional state, or have I supported my emotional state by introducing some of my essential oils into my day? For instance, so let's just start here with balance, because balance is probably I can't say my favorite because I love frankincense. There's a couple that I truly love, but it is up there. It is so up there. We are a seasoned team, and if you have the original balance with rosewood, please tell me it's not cracked open sitting on a shelf somewhere. Please tell me you have opened that beautiful balance and just at least smelling it out of the bottle on a daily because you guys, balance brings so much to our world. It helps us start the day on the right foot, and literally on the right foot. If you put balance on your feet, you're already supporting yourself in that total awareness of managing stress levels, and you're going to live more in consciousness because you are caring for yourself in that way already.
This is one oil that I used to put on my daughter when she was a teenager. While she was still in bed, I would slowly and gently lift up the blankets and apply this on her feet and just rub it in a little tiny bit. And it would make the world of difference for her as she was waking up. I mean, I could totally tell on the days that I didn't use it compared to the days that I did. She was so much more pleasant and just able to manage her morning so much better.
I love that. So balance is also something that you can use while meditating, while journaling, while stretching. I mean, I know we have our yoga oils, but balance is our grounding blend. So amazing way to start the day and throughout the day. So don't forget about our balance. I know we have many other oils that we've added to our toolbox of oils, but balance has always been a staple. Frankincense and balance on the bottom of your feet in the morning is going to just start you off very well. Lisa, I'll let you talk about our next one.
Okay,
that's
so
your favorite.
Lavender. Huh?
That's your favorite.
Oh yes, I have lavender with me all the time, and I use it for several different things. Mostly, like if I feel like I'm getting allergies, that's when I use it, like across my nose, and I'll take a drop or two internally. But if I feel like I am carrying any type of tension or tightness, in fact, I just did it this morning because you guys, I got to hike a rim to rim on Friday. Oh my gosh, it was amazing. It was so fun. But carrying that backpack, it was about 16 pounds that I was carrying across for that long of a period. And my shoulders and neck, they're just tight and tense and they hurt. And so, of course, I went right for my lavender and applied it. But this could be for emotional tension too, where we just carry so much from our neck, actually from our head all the way to our shoulders. So being able to pull this out and just rub it on even our lower back or wherever it is that you feel like you need to release maybe another layer of whatever it is that you have going on. This is amazing. I love our lavender.
I'm so glad that you brought that in about tension of muscles, because I mean, remember, we have lavender and aroma touch. And so like it is really amazing for tense muscles. What happens when we get stressed? We get tense. And so I love that you're bringing that back into our radar, that it's great for tension. I mean, it's amazing for all different kinds of things. It's known as a Swiss Army of essential oils, Swiss Army knife of essential oils for everything. Even just tossing a few drops on your dryer ball and your sheets come out smelling like just a hint of lavender is heavenly. And so using your lavender throughout the day, not necessarily thinking that it's only for sleep, but it's for tension, for moments of feeling like, oh, I just need to relax. And that's when you grab your lavender.
One last thing on lavender, I feel like it's really important for mamas to have, because their babies, you know, sometimes if they get hurt or if they fall, and even just smelling it for kids, I notice that they calm down so much with just the smell of lavender.
3 things that we carry in our backpacks when we hike: frankincense for major traumas, which I've had to use when a big boulder fell down on my leg and it blew up like a baseball, and I had to wrap, you know, my shirt on top of it, but I use frankincense. Lavender for any scrapes or stings or anything like that.
Allergies. I
and
get allergies on the
allergies.
trails. I'm like, oh yeah.
And deep blue. So we have 3 things. Well, and sometimes breathe for whoever, depending on who's hiking with us. But those are basically the 3 that we always have: lavender, frankincense, and deep blue on our hikes. Okay, let's go.
So adaptive is the last one that we'll talk about today. And this one has been, oh my goodness, the most amazing blend to end my yoga sessions with people. So I know we've talked about doing the retreat, the women's retreat house that Anita and I go to, and they crave this oil. They know that at the end of the yoga session, we come around and we place our hands over their face with this, and they love it. It brings such a calming, peaceful feeling to them. And afterwards, they usually want to apply it. I don't ever apply it on them in case they don't want it on, but they're able to breathe. But afterward, they do request if they can apply it. And so it's just been a beautiful blend to help with that comfort. It's such a great blend.
So for me, the very first thing when we talk about stress, to me, that equals upset. When I'm upset, that equals adaptive. And so as soon as I am feeling that there's something like I'm having a difficult time with, I put 2 to 3 drops of adaptive in my hands. And then I do my breathing, which is deep inhale in for 4 counts and exhale out for 6. 5 times. I take a break and I'm like, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 5 times. So anytime that I feel, and I talk my girls through this, if my daughter with 2 babies is having a moment, I'm like, grab your adaptive. We're going to do 5 breaths. Adaptive, 5 breaths. That's become a norm for us in our family. And it's become a norm for me. Even if I'm just had a difficult conversation with somebody and I get in my car, 5 breaths, adaptive. And at the end of 5 deep breaths, not only are you doing breath work, and how often do we really stop to take 5 deep breaths throughout the day and how that benefits our body, but the power of adaptive is immense. It is, you feel after those 5 deep breaths that you are in a totally different world than before you entered those 5 breaths. And would you think that 5 breaths would make such a difference? They do. It's amazing. The next time that you're upset or that you feel like you have just, reached that edge, do 5 breaths with adaptive and see what it does for you. And Alicia, I'll let you go on to the next thing if you have anything else on your mind about adaptive.
I mean, not really anything else, but just that I absolutely love using it in my meditation or my yoga practice, or I don't diffuse it as often, but I have diffused it before and it's really amazing diffused too. But I did want to end, like when we get to the end, I wanted to do an actual breath work with
okay,
it.
great.
So I don't have really anything else to add.
Okay. The last thing before we go into the breath work is anyone that you know is experiencing anxiousness, this is something that you want to introduce to them, or if you feel that way, that you want to use on the daily all day long, maybe starting with adaptive in the morning on your feet, doing that breath work more often throughout the day. It is amazing for anxious feelings and just overall, whatever it is, if it's social anxiety or anything like that, use your adaptive. That's your partner.
And I love that it comes in the roller, because I feel like that is sometimes a little bit easier for people Like it just, for some reason, it just seems like, oh, all I have to do is roll it on. That's simple, you know?
Mhm.
And
Don't forget that all this works on your babies, on your kids before they go to school. Adaptive is also going to be a great tool for them as well. Okay,
okay,
let's go
so
into
there are many different, I guess, techniques with breath work. I'm sure you guys have heard of the 4x4 where so what you would do is breathe in for 4 counts and then hold it for 4 counts. So then that would be the 4. And then you exhale for 4 and then you inhale. So you kind of just keep going around that 4x4 box. But the one I wanted to do with you guys, and Anita, the one that you mentioned is super similar. But if you have your oil, grab just like however much you want, a drop or 2 of your oil of choice. And then we're just going to rub our hands together. And also you can do this at your own pace. You don't have to follow along with my count, but if you want to do it with my count, then we'll just take, so what we're going to do is we're going to breathe in for 4, hold it for 7, and then exhale for 8. Or if you feel like you can exhale a little bit longer, then we'll do that too. So when you're ready, we're going to breathe in 1, 2, 3, 4, and then hold 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale. This will be our last round. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then just take a moment to come back to regular breathing. Maybe taking a moment to find gratitude and finding a little bit of stillness, a little bit of love for yourself as you took this moment to breathe. I mean, our breath is with us from the very first breath we ever took as we were born, and it's the very last thing that we take with us as we pass on. So breath work throughout our life is like the most valuable thing, right? We are breathing that in every day. And many times through life, we are living in such shallow breathing that it's not giving us the nourishment, I guess, that our body could have if we were to take a few moments a day and just do that type of breathing and just slow it down, compose ourselves with whatever maybe we had going on, and then just finding that stillness, finding that gratitude. And it shifts things in that moment. So it's amazing. I love it.
Thank you. Okay, no, we're just grateful that you were able to join us today, and hope that you notice the additional, aside from the oils, practices that will benefit and maximize the use of those oils when you pair them. And so thank you for taking time out of your day to be with us. We love you.
Hey, see you guys. Bye. Oh, let me stop the recording.